I recently reviewed a Cadillac Escalade V and I thought that was big until I got the keys to this, a 2022 Dodge Ram TRX. It's a TRX, but it might as well be a T-Rex because look at the size of this thing. Even the word gargantuan isn't enough to describe this truck. Look at this insane ground clearance, with no running boards either. There's some intimidating vehicles out there, but none come quite as close as this Dodge Ram TRX. Can you imagine this thing pulling up to you at a stoplight and you see this in your rearview mirror? Whatever you do, avoid being hit by a Ram TRX at all costs because these bumpers are not plastic. These are metal. Cybertruck, you ain't got nothing on the TRX. This incredibly aggressive front end is augmented by this hood scoop with the 3 lights that are situated on top. This aggressive hood is covering this fire-breathing monster, the Hellcat engine, 6.2 liter supercharged V8. 702 horsepower, 650 pound-feet of torque, propelling this beast from 0 to 60 in 3.7 seconds. Under 4 seconds for this thing that weighs 6,800 pounds. Absolutely monstrous. This is why I love American car manufacturers to bring us insane creations like this and the Ford Raptor R. Completely unreasonable trucks in all the right ways. A 702 horsepower monster truck? Sure, why not? With negative miles per gallon. With a 6.2 liter V8, you need a tailpipe to match it. Look at how wide this is. This truck is holding nothing back when it comes to off-roading. You have a ram bar here and a bed-mounted spare tire. That spare tire pretty much takes up half the bed space to replace these huge wheels and tires, these Goodyear Wranglers, and you can see the Bilstein shocks and all of the engineering that went into the suspension because this truck is designed for hopping over sand dunes. Without running boards on this truck, you need to stretch your legs and do some squats before you can get in, just to warm yourself up and make sure you don't pull a muscle. Ready? You need this grab bar to pull yourself in. Otherwise, it's just too much work. Once you're inside the truck, you feel like you're on top of the world because you're just so incredibly high off the ground. As you can imagine, it's incredibly spacious in here. If this was a bench seat instead of bucket seats, you could probably fit 4 or 5 adults just sitting next to each other. If you run out of space to put stuff in your house, no problem. Get a TRX and fill it up because there's plenty of storage places. You can put stuff here, here, here. The center console is like the size of a small safe. Not just one glove box, but a second area. And that's just in the front. Let's look in the back. You have a sofa in the back, plenty of legroom as you can see, and if you happen to own 12 pens, you have a pen holder for each of your pens. If you want to play hide and seek in this truck, you absolutely can because aside from being able to store stuff under these seats, you could also hide. Looks like there is a water bottle hiding under the seat. And you could store more stuff here, here, cup holders in the center armrest. You can also open up the back window if you want, and you have speakers above your head for that nice surround sound. Need an extremely spacious vehicle with 702 horsepower? The Ram TRX is your answer. Oh, if you happen to own mini discs, you can slide them in here also. I like the steering wheel. I like this Ram logo in the center. What I don't like are these paddles. This is the weirdest design of paddles that I've seen. There's a cutout here for this button, but it makes for a strange shifting experience because you can only use 2 fingers to shift, and inevitably you're gonna end up hitting this button. The analog gauges look really nice with the TRX badge in the center, and you have a nice big center display. You can adjust climate controls through the menu, or you have physical buttons that you can use. Lots of options for 4x4, including a launch control button. And you push this TRX button, and you get all of these modes that you can adjust: sport, tow, snow, auto. Obviously Baja mode for this truck. When I drive, I'm gonna be driving with sport mode, obviously. Quite a few auxiliary button options. You can also change the modes here. And you get the visual of the truck with all the different modes. Good camera display, which you need with the size of this truck. Fuel economy, 6.4 miles per gallon. This is the first time ever where I've seen a vehicle average 6.4 miles per gallon. Needless to say, you need a huge fuel tank if you're even gonna go to the grocery store in this thing. You can also switch through all the menus by pushing these buttons. Lots of options you can scroll through. The screen, although nice size, could actually be bigger considering the size and space you have in here. And if you get stuck in the sand dunes, you can call assist or SOS. Sitting in this truck, you wouldn't realize that not only does it have 702 horsepower, it's also a beast off-road, but driving down the highway, this can easily be a cruiser or daily driver. That's if you can manage to drive something that's this big and hefty. So let's find out what it's like behind the wheel. When you're driving something this big, the first thing you need to get used to is the fact that this truck takes up the entire lane. So you have zero room for error. Any deviation from the lane and you're gonna run over somebody. It's almost like being in a high-rise building. You're separated from everything that's going on around you. It's nice to be able to look around and see everybody around you, and everyone's quite a bit lower. When you're just cruising around quietly, there is no sound. It's a really comfortable truck. It's actually pretty quiet. The suspension's a little bouncy. The brakes are a little on the softer side. And once you get used to the size, this could be a daily driver if you'd like it to be. And most people that buy trucks like this probably never take it off-road anyway. This is not a truck you want to get if you're in a heavily urban area, you have tight city streets, you have small lanes, you have a lot of traffic, because then you just won't be able to drive something like this. In Texas, of course, where I live, the roads are big, and if there's no traffic, then you can really take advantage of the wide open roads. But then knowing that you're driving a Hellcat truck, 6.2 liter supercharged V8, the first thing that you want to do as you get inside this is stop that pedal. This is amazing. This awesome supercharger whine, this Hellcat engine. This is not a truck that you can drive normally. I'm glad they have paddle shifters in this thing, because anytime you want to hear that supercharger whine, just downshift, and there you have it. Because this is 6,800 pounds in a truck that sits up pretty high, every time you brake, there's going to be a lot of movement in the truck. It does bounce around quite a bit. But then also because it's ideally suited for jumping over rocks and hills and all kinds of terrain, you can expect this truck to be pretty bouncy. Anytime I floor it, I can see the gas gauge needle moving downwards. Every time I mash that pedal, there goes another few bucks in gas money. But when you buy something like this, you don't care about the gas. You're not being practical or financially reasonable. You're buying this purely because you can and you just want to have fun. Dodge did exactly the right thing by putting a Hellcat engine in this, because when it comes to truck or any kind of car, this is super fun to drive. Trucks like this are meant for the die-hard auto enthusiast like myself, but there's one big reason why you should consider buying the TRX if you're in the market. 2024 will be the last year that something like this is made with a 6.2 liter supercharged V8. Buy one while you can, or pick up a used one like this 2022 TRX. I would buy the TRX over the Raptors because you see way too many Raptors out there. You just don't see a lot of these TRXs. And besides, this is a Hellcat truck after all. You gotta get yourself a Hellcat. Just make sure you have enough saved up for gas, because the gas bills on this truck will be about as much as the monthly payments on this. By the time you watch this video, this truck might still be for sale, so check out Covert Buick GMC, and thanks to them for giving me the keys to this truck. They have a bunch of other really cool used vehicles in inventory, so check them out.